Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to another pre-market live stream today. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Sorry, I wasn't on Friday. Got a little busy, wasn't able to get on. So sorry about missing their Friday, but we are on here today, and so far, I'm kind of happy with the day. I think there's going to be a few things to capitalize on and play today. So I think it's going to be an all right day. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Rick or Mike. Good morning, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get going to the next screen here. All right, so those are the three stocks I'm watching again today: IGC, NBEV, and Netflix. Good morning, guys. There's some pretty negative news out there on IGC today. Netflix is just getting hammered with the market, or was, shall I say. So I think there's going to be some interesting plays today. I knew someone was going to ask about ALT. I'll shed my light on ALT and why I'm not watching it and why it's not on my watch list. I might trade it, I might not, but I'm not crazy about it. So anywho, so those are stocks I'm watching, and then of course those are the stocks gapping up and down. So take a second to write them down or take a screenshot. We'll also come back to it later in the video towards the end of the stream. That way you guys can look at it again if you missed anything. Nice. Good work, Mike. Nice job. All right, good stuff. All righty. I am going to get going here. All right, so first one I'm going to watch, we'll talk about is IGC. So IGC is doing pretty much exactly what I anticipated would have done. So just going to be watching IGC for a bounce day where we're going to start squeezing out some short sellers and recovering a little bit. You can see it's gapping up right now, kind of pulling back, which is fine. This is kind of what I would anticipate here pre-market, where it would gap up, curl, and then we might be looking at a long play out of the gates. So if you look, back to this 180-day chart, right? So this is right, moved up, coming all the way down. So anticipating there's going to be a bounce today on the stock. So I'm just going to simply be playing IGC for a bounce day. That's pretty much it. You can see it's holding or did hold support just at $4. So do anticipate we'll see a little bit of a bounce here. It may not bounce today. It might be tomorrow. It might not bounce at all. But I do think there's a strong chance we're going to see a bounce on IGC. So that's exactly what I'll be anticipating today, is a small bounce off of the $4 support, which it's already kind of doing. It's fading out here pre-market, but I do think it has opportunity to go higher. If you do look at the news today on the stock IGC, Market Watch, brought out some news with a bunch of red flags on the company as to why they're not good and they're basically a scam, which doesn't surprise me. So do make sure to look at the news too and read that. I'm not going to go over it for you, but if you look up the news or most recent news on IGC, basically along the lines of something about they work out of Malaysia, or there's a bunch of red flags, the company loses a lot of money, blah blah blah. They jump around to the newest hottest trends. So basically they just hopped on the weed trend and spit out a bunch of promotions and reports that they're going to be a cannabis infused company, and the stock went crazy. So stuff around that. All right. So anyways, IGC is going to be the long play, just kind of keeping an eye on it here pre-market to see what happens. It's kind of dipping. I think we'll see a curl and a run when the bell opens. So that's the first one on my watch list. NBEV, still watching this one. It's getting really choppy, which doesn't surprise me. It's overcrowded right now, so it is getting choppy, but that's also because it hasn't picked a direction for like the past couple days, right? For the past couple days, it's just kind of been, you know, channeling up, pulling back, channeling back up, pulling back. So, you know, it makes sense that it's starting to get choppy because it's getting into the end of this pattern. So today I would say that it's going to pick a direction, and that's either up or down. I'm not sure exactly which way it's going to go. And I don't really have to know because as soon as it picks its direction, I can just trade the direction it's going in. Again, I don't have shares to short on IGC, so if it does start dropping, I won't be shorting. But again, if we look here at still a 180-day chart or something, it does have the pattern of a cup and handle where it could break to the upside. So that's basically what I'm watching for, to see if it breaks the upside. If it starts to do this and roll and break down, then it's most likely going to start heading back down towards like $5, towards $6, okay? So just simply watching NBEV right now, it's in a potential cup and handle pattern, and if it does manage to keep trending up and it breaks out to the upside, if it breaks to the upside, we're going to squeeze anybody who got short here, anybody who got short there, anybody who's short there, anybody who's short here, and we might push to a new high, 52-week high, and go on another run. So that's just what I'm watching for. I'm hoping that the bulls are strong enough to win the battle and cause this thing to break out again, and we go on another tear to the upside over the previous highs and into a new 52-week high. That would be ideal to see. If it can't, then we're most likely going to break down and come down and test this like 650 to support, and then maybe even 6, right about there. So just following NBEV for right now. Netflix is the next one on the watch list. So Netflix got crushed for the past couple days. It's down about 40 points. Actually, it's down $40 a share from the high at 386 down to 340. Actually, yeah, 346. So it's down $40 a share currently. So big drop. It is coming down to a big support level, which would be right here. That bounce, that kind of break up, that break down, that break up, bounce, 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 straight across, right there. So this is a pretty strong support right in this 340. So I am going to be watching Netflix for a small recovery bounce after this 40-point drop. So definitely keeping an eye on Netflix. Could end up taking some shares to swing trade on it. As long as it can stay up and above like the 340s, I'd be long bias on it for maybe a 1 to 2 day bounce, maybe 3 days. They do have their earnings coming up, but again, it's at a pretty strong support level, and I think that, you know, with the big $40 drop, you know, anybody who is short bias on the stock is probably thinking to cover up here at the support level. You know, it might go lower, but why risk it? You know, I do think we're getting ready for a bounce here on Netflix. We're going to be keeping a close eye on that. TLRY, I would not be trading TLRY. I personally give TLRY a price target of about $50 right now. $50 to $40 a share is really my price target on TLRY. So if you're going to be trading it the way I would trade it, is all short. But I don't have shares to short of it, and the options are not really, in my opinion, that great. So I'm not really even trading that anymore. So just watching it to see if the my predictions come true, which I have a strong feeling they will. We'll probably see TLRY down to about $45, $50 a share here in the near future. All right, so Netflix, again, just watching for a bounce today off that level. Now, I will talk about ALT because there are many that might be interested in this today. So in terms of ALT, the last time it kind of went big, it just was a challenge to even trade because the spread and the low float, and it was a pain in the ass. So I do think there is a possibility that it could keep running today, but I'm not going to be super optimistic on it. You know, last time it went from not too long ago from 4 to 36, just all on pure pump, and then obviously it crashed. all the way back down to 4. So it's just doing the small like recovery bounce. All right. I mean, see it from the push from 4, crash down to 4, held, squeezing. So yeah, there might be a little bit more of a pop today, but I would say if it does go today, it's going to be done for tomorrow, the next day. So I could watch ALT for a long today. I think that's a possibility. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But I'm just not crazy about it. If it really picks up in volume, then I might be happy to trade it. But previously, when it went on its big run, the volume was so low that it was a pain in the ass to trade realistically. I mean, I can't say if it's worth it or not. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, if the premiums are too. I mean, yeah, if it bounces more, I mean, you're gonna make money. Basically, put it that way. If you're right, you'll make money. It's whether or not you can afford it, right? That's what it always comes down to. It's not whether or not it's worth it. It's is it worth it to you? Can you afford it? I mean, for me, I could trade options calls on Netflix and be just fine, even with the premiums being a little bit high. Because if I'm right, I'll still make money on them, you know. So that's with ALT. I'm not going to really talk too much, but I do say that it could be a good stock to watch. But again, the spreads can be a little challenging per se. Hold on one second. Facebook, to talk about Facebook, I'm not going to go over their stock chart, but in terms of Facebook, I would. Again, same thing with our group. We're just kind of watching it. Nothing crazy about it right now. Still fading, still trending down. Got no buy signals yet. Nothing to tell us that it's going to change or reverse direction and start heading back up. Still at a low point. But again, most people don't want to buy at low points. They want to wait till some type of move happens. And that's kind of where we're at. You know, we just want to watch Facebook until it gets down closer to maybe 150. Snapchat, I don't trade Snapchat. I never follow Snapchat. To me, Snapchat is just boring. Nothing about it yet that makes me think it's a great stock. We just covered Netflix. What indicators do I use? I use moving averages and the volume weighted average price. That's the only thing that'll ever be on my chart. AMD's a good one to discuss here real fast. So yeah, AMD, I wouldn't be buying it for a bounce. I mean, it might bounce, but with the way the chart looks to me, I think it's actually going to try and break down 2680s and head towards 25 or even, 24. I could very well see that happening. If it doesn't, what it basically needs to do, AMD needs to hold above needs to hold above 2686, which is, like right here. If it breaks that, it's probably going to go down towards 24, 25. Right? There's nothing to keep it from dropping. If it breaks that 26 level, there's nothing stopping it from continuing down. PBR gapping up this morning, got a price target raised to $35 a share. I won't be trading PBR just because I'm just not. I mean, I'm not. It's not something I would day trade, and even with it gapping up the way it is, I still won't day trade it. So if you're looking at it in terms of like swing trading, yeah, maybe, but I already think it's up pretty extended. Just look at the yearly chart, and you'll see PBR is kind of extended right now, so I wouldn't really say it's a great buy in terms of right now. I haven't been keeping up heavily on the whole news with China, so that's something that I probably should get updated on. Let me take a quick peek. Oh, let's see. Let me see. I'm looking through some news right now. Hmm. Are you guys referring to the China news about like the hacking of Apple? Is that the one? Yeah, so I mean, it's just news, right? There's really no proof yet. I mean, so far all it sounds like is allegations and news of, they did hack it. And then if you look today, Apple just said that Apple says found no signs of hacking attacks. So not quite sure what to believe there personally. Now, with in terms of Apple, I mean, it definitely pulled back, but at the same time, Apple was pulling back and that news was hitting, the market was pulling back too. So the overall market had taken a big tumble the past 3 days. So did Apple, right? So did Netflix. So did Amazon, and so did Google, and so did Facebook, and all of them, right? So all these bigger stocks took a tumble with the market too. So I mean, it just maybe good timing, coincidence that it just so happens that that kind of news breaks while the market's dropping. Whatever it may be. At the end of the day, um, that type of news usually. So like here we go. We have the news that Apple gets hacked, then Apple comes out and says, "No, we didn't get hacked." Well, I mean, if somebody came out and said, Connor Polifrone's a horrible stock trader, I would probably come back and say, no, I'm not a horrible stock trader, right? So, yet personally, the negative news is what's going to scare people more over, right? I mean, for a third party to come out and say Apple gets hacked, and then for the party to come out and say, no, we didn't get hacked, realistically, the way people's minds work is they're going to believe the negative over the positive, right? It makes sense Apple would come out and say there was no signs found, right? But for someone to deliberately come out and say Apple gets hacked, right? You could question maybe they did, right? But for Apple to come out and say no, we didn't, there's no question that they would come out and try to make them sound good, right? In defense, right? Everybody's going to try and make themselves look good again or better. And that's a no-brainer, right? What's not a no-brainer is, or did not Apple actually get hacked? That isn't a no-brainer, okay? So people listen to the negative more than the positive in everything. Like people like drama, people for whatever. The negative gains more traction than does the positive, right? Whatever reason, it just humans are the way they are. So personally, I'm not really. I mean, I think trading wise, I think you're fine trading Apple. I don't really say. I mean, like investing wise, again, I've said for months to come, not going to invest in any stocks right now. They're just not worth investing in right now. Way too high and way too risky. Trading, you're fine, right? I think Apple could even bounce today based on where it's at, but I wouldn't be long term buying Apple right now. Um. Anyways, guys, what time is it? 8:51. Yeah, we're gonna call it there. We've been on quite a bit. Just an FYI, might be starting up like I don't know. We'll see. Might I would like to do like a weekend kind of podcast thing where we get on and not just necessarily look at charts, but have more of a podcast kind of deal. So might be implementing that on the weekends. The only challenge with doing that is finding people to be on with me. That and I mean, it sounds kind of rude, but yeah, realistically, people that can be on the podcast with me that are good enough traders or investors that know enough about the market that can hold a conversation in terms of financial markets because most people can't. And so, realistically, I would love to do something like, like how Joe Rogan does it. Sit down with somebody, that would be cool. But, there's really just not enough traders in the world to do that unless they're coming in and I'm not some massively big, famous person that's going to have someone fly out to just do a podcast. So Might be looking at doing some on the web, but I think there's going to be soon we'll have something on the weekends too where you guys can tune in that will be revolved around what we normally do here, talking about a few stocks and really diving into them more so than just looking at charts. Yeah, Rick, and that's the thing too. We've already kind of discussed that possibilities there. Um, Absolutely, Rick. Anyways, we'll end it there, guys. So I'm gonna hop back to this screen real fast. So for any of you guys that may or may not did see these or didn't see these, you guys can write these down, and then I gotta get going here. So I'll give you guys about another minute or so. KRX. All right, cool. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. You can always go back and rewatch this video if you came in late and missed it. But other than that, I will see you guys all tomorrow, and then for a recording of our trading here later today. All right, guys, take care.